Sunday. Today we took all our Christmas decorations out of the storage room in the basement. We have boxers full of ornaments, and some of them are pretty old. There's one with a picture of me and Roderick taking a bath in the sink that's really embarrassing, but Mom won't let me throw it out. We put up the tree in the living room and started hanging ornaments on it. My little brother Manny was taking a nap upstairs, and when he woke up and found out we were decorating the tree without him, he had a total meltdown. The reason Manny was so upset was because someone hung his favorite ornament, this candy cane he really likes. So Mom took it off the tree and handed it to Manny to hang up himself. But Manny wanted his ornament to be the first one on the tree, so that meant we had to take all the decorations down, just so he could get his way. And that's just the kind of thing that happens in my house every single day. Mom hasn't started to use the threat of Santa as a way of getting Manny to behave, but I'm sure she will soon. I don't think it's such a good strategy for keeping us in line, though. Because the second Christmas is over, Mom doesn't have any real leverage. Well, the Easter Bunny is going to be very disappointed in you boys. Monday! Right before Thanksgiving break, there was a contest at school to see who could come up with the best anti-bullying slogan, and the grand prize was a pizza party for the winning team. Only you can stop bullying. Form a team of up to 5 people and come up with the best anti-bullying slogan. The winning team will get a pizza party in the cafeteria. Let's make bullying extinct. Everyone wanted that pizza party, and people didn't care what they had to do to win it. 2 groups of girls in my grade came up with slogans that were really similar, and each group accused the other one of stealing their idea. The whole situation spun out of control, and eventually the vice principal had to step in to stop it from turning into a full-scale riot. Our school only has one legitimate bully this year anyway, and his name is Dennis Root. And with all the signs and posters everywhere, I'm pretty sure the message is getting through to him. The day before Thanksgiving, there was a big anti-bullying assembly, and everyone in the auditorium was looking at Dennis the whole time. I kind of felt sorry for him, so I tried to make him feel better. Even though Dennis is the only real bully in our school this year, we had a bunch of them last year. People were constantly getting picked on at recess, so the teachers set up a station on the playground, where kids could press a button if they needed to get a grown-up's attention. Well, the teleteacher station just ended up being a convenient place for the bullies to hang out and find their next victims. The teachers say teasing counts as bullying, too, but I don't think there's any way they're going to put a stop to that. Kids are always calling each other names, and that kind of thing at my school. In fact, one of the reasons I try to stay under the radar is because I don't want to end up getting stuck with a nickname like Cody Johnson did. In kindergarten, Cody stepped in some dog poop at recess. And ever since then, people have called him Duke. And I'm not just talking about the kids either. I'm talking about the teachers and even the principal. Congratulations to Dookie Johnson for getting straight A's in the 3rd quarter. I'll tell you this. If I ever get a nickname like Dookie, I'll move to a different town. But what would probably happen is that someone from my OLD school would move to my new town and the whole thing would just start back up again. Dookie. The teachers always say that when you're getting picked on, you should tell an adult. I think that's a good idea, but it didn't work out so well when I was getting bullied that there was this kid who lived in the neighborhood next to mine, and for some reason everyone called him Nasty Pants. Every time me and my friend Rolly went through Nasty Pants' neighborhood, he chased us with a stick. R-A-A-A-A-A. The thing that really stunk was that me and Rolly used the woods in that neighborhood as a shortcut to get to school. So we started having to go out of our way to avoid getting harassed by Nasty Pants. We did exactly what the teachers are always telling us to do, and complained to the vice principal. But Vice Principal Roy said that since Nasty Pants didn't go to our school, there was nothing he could really do about it after getting chased a few more times. I decided I'd had enough, so I told Dad about the situation. I was afraid Dad was going to say I needed to toughen up and deal with the problem myself, but he surprised me. Dad said that he had problems with a bully at my age and he knew just what I was going through. Dad's bully was named Billy Staples, and Billy's favorite thing to do was pin a kid's arm behind his back and hold it there until he cried. Squeal. Dad said that the kids in the neighborhood told their parents about Billy and they all went to Billy's house to confront his mom and dad. Mr. Staples made Billy promise to never pick on anyone ever again. And Dad said Billy burst into tears and might have even wet his pants. Well, after hearing that story, I don't think Billy Staples would have been any match for Nasty Pants. But I told Dad I liked the idea of complaining to the bully's parents. I called up Rolly and told him to come over and to bring his dad, because we needed as much backup as we could get. Dad knocked on Nasty Pants' door, and we waited for one of his parents to open it. But Nasty Pants himself came to the door, and me and Rolly took off. Raw. I guess I should have described Nasty Pants to Dad, because it took him a while to understand that the kid who came to the door was the one who was causing us all that trouble. Dad talked to Mrs. Pants, and she told Dad her son was only 5 and that he just gets a little wound up sometimes. You smell like a dirty diaper. Pee! On the way home, Dad was pretty mad at me for letting myself get bullied by a kid who was still in kindergarten. But let me just say in my defense that when some kid is chasing you with a stick, you don't stop to ask him how old he is.